Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Nirenstein, and this is Vehicle Virgins. A couple months ago, I was in this exact same spot with a Tesla Model 3. The good news is today, this is a similar Model 3, only with better looking wheels, a tint, and everything is blacked out. I loved that car, the way it drove. The price, it starts at $35,000, and right now you can get a government incentive for $7,500 off. You're getting a lot of car for the money, and while the initial packages had to spec it up high, now that they're becoming more and more common, you can get one for a reasonable price. I even clocked a 0 to 60 time with the V-Box of 4.4 seconds when this comes on tires that aren't actually all that good, and I'm fully convinced with the right rubber, this might give something like the BMW M3 a run for its money. Another positive of the car, it doesn't run on the air suspension that the Model S has. The Model S tracks perfectly flat. This, well, it has a decent amount of body roll. The crazy part is this isn't even the dual motor performance one. Tesla is gonna come out with that, and I have some severe personal interest in that. But because these are conventional springs, you can get an aftermarket lowering kit, stiffer springs, and it can actually ride like a true sports car. This, with the right wheels, the right tires, the right suspension, truly is an awesome car. But you guys know me, this is Vehicle Virgins. No car is perfect, so here are 5 things I hate about the Tesla Model 3. The looks of the Model 3 are controversial. It's a little bit quirky and nerdy, so to speak. The Model S and the Model X, they look aggressive, they look mean, but the Model 3, when it comes from the factory, looks a little bit smiley and childish. That being said, you can do a lot of things to it to prevent that. You can black out certain pieces of the exterior trim, tint the headlights, for instance, get black wheels, but the one thing that you can't do easily is fix the disgusting wheel gap. I don't understand. Tesla is all about making performance machines, being on the cutting edge of technology, and also helping the planet at the same time. You know what doesn't help the planet? This makes me so mad that I feel like it could cause a riot from all the car enthusiasts. I can fit my entire hand in between the wheel gap and the wheel itself. That simply looks silly. If this was dropped about 1.5 inches, it would look so much better. It might actually ride better too. While it handles well and the seating position is perfect, the steering feel is great, it has instant throttle response considering it doesn't really have a conventional throttle. It's not the gas pedal, it's all electric. If it was lowered a little bit, it still has plenty of clearance in the front. This car has never been scraped on anything and it's been driven aggressively. The little lowering kit, it'd fix it right up. Number 2, the door handles on the inside and out. Now, I appreciate Tesla coming up with unique door handles that are integrated into the body lines of the car, both for efficiency reasons, aerodynamics, and also it simply looks cool. The fact that you can walk up to your Tesla Model S, have the door handles come out, and they're these beautiful pieces of metal, it feels high quality, is awesome. Well, they've tried to do something similar with the Model 3. Now, you've got to keep in mind, this is a $35,000 car, although right when they came out, you couldn't really get one for less than $50,000, but at the same time, it does feel like there's other cars in this price range, and especially Tesla being such an incredible brand, they could have done something a little bit better. Now, these door handles remind me of something like off of an Aston Martin or a Nissan GTR, or even the reverse of a Lamborghini Huracan. You push in here, and you pull on this little handle. Now, unlike the GTR, there isn't too much play in the handle itself, maybe a little bit, but it just feels, I don't know, kind of cheap. And then when you open the door, this is my biggest gripe with the door handles. There are 2 different releases. One is right here, and the other is this handle here. Now, you're likely to most want to pull on this handle because how often are you used to pressing a button to open your door? The problem is when you pull on this handle, you actually get a warning on the screen, which I'll show you, that actually says, use the other handle. Click this button because if you use the quote-unquote emergency latch, it could potentially damage the window trim. I don't understand why they would design a door handle that's gonna hurt the car itself. Imagine you opening your car door and then a warning popping up and saying, yeah, use the other car door. The next thing I hate about the Tesla Model 3 has to do with this interior component right here. It's the cover to essentially a storage space where you can put your phone. In fact, it's got a similar one right here where you can charge your iPhone. Really great spot, actual charging points here. But the issue is actually closing it. When you press on this, look at that. It just won't close, and then you get this warning that says close lid gently. Just gracefully, like, what is this, a soft closed door? It's obviously magnetic, but if you do this, that's annoying. I just opened the door by accident to get out to tell you about the next thing I hated, and yeah, I've clearly broken the door. Sick. The next thing I hate about the Tesla Model 3, one of my absolute least favorite parts that is so fixable. So Tesla, please take this into consideration. I'm sure you're gonna fix it on the performance variants, on the dual motor variants, but I don't understand why on this car, where you do talk about the performance, and it's very impressive, 0 to 60 in 4.4 to 5 seconds is very, very fast. Why do you put all-season tires on the car? Now, I'd understand if maybe these were manufactured in Michigan where there's snow, but your plant is in Fremont, and unfortunately, well, actually, fortunately, the amount of rain and snow in California isn't all that much, and people can buy winter tires, especially if you're buying a car of this value, if they need them on demand. I know you've put 4S's on the performance version of this car. Fantastic choice. On this though, these tires are absolutely garbage. They shouldn't have had all seasons. Now, regardless of the brand, if they had put high performance summer tires on it, this car would be so much better. Handling, acceleration, everything. Now I know all seasons, they're more practical. Perhaps these are harder compounds, so it's more efficient, the range is extended, but you know, it's a toss-up, and I think a lot of people who would like to take this and fun performance driving characteristics and situations, a better tire would really, really improve this car. This on Pilot Sport 4S's, whew, that performance one, it's gonna be sick. That brings me to the last thing that I hate about the Tesla Model 3, and that is its lack of a conventionally placed speedometer. In normal cars, you're looking down ahead of you along the road, and you can see a speedo right in between your steering wheel, or perhaps there's a heads-up display so you know how fast you're going. On the Model 3, you don't have that availability. The only speedo is right here. Now, it's somewhat conveniently placed, but if you've got your eyes glued to the road, even in my peripherals, I can't both focus on the road and see what the heck it says at the same time. Actually, that could be a positive. I'm thinking now an officer goes, "Sir, do you know how fast you're going?" And no, I have a Model 3. Haven't you seen the Vehicle Virgins videos? You can't actually tell how fast you're going. A little bonus thing that I don't like before we decide to go to the supercharging station. I want to talk about the superchargers. One, it can be kind of a bummer having to stop depending upon the state that you are in, although Tesla's doing a fantastic job of really expanding the amount of superchargers there are in this country. So I have done long road trips in a Tesla Model S in the middle of nowhere and actually had no problems whatsoever. Not a dig on the superchargers by any means, but it is obviously common sense that there are nowhere near as many supercharging stations as there are gas stations. Now, this isn't relevant on a daily commute. You simply plug your Model 3 in, you go to work, and you head back. And chances are, if you live in California or a popular state, there will be a supercharging station everywhere you turn. Where I am in Southern California, you could supercharge this thing all the time, anywhere, not a problem whatsoever. But I've never actually done it. I've witnessed my friend Brooks from Drag Times do it, but I want to see what happens if we actually charge this and how fast does it charge. I'm now down to a quarter of the range, and it started basically with half to 3/4 of a tank, and I just said tank, half to 3/4 of range, and I haven't actually driven it all that hard. But if you're gonna drive a Model 3 really quickly, it's gonna drain the range fast, and then, well, we'll find a way to charge it. One other little tidbit that I don't like is the lock and unlock button is this right here, bouncing around. I can't hit it. I'm not sure why they wouldn't have put a lock button, perhaps the size of one of these things here. I mean, I feel like lock and unlock is just as relevant as accessing your music or your recent calls. Especially, you know, you're gonna be listening to music, but recent calls should definitely have the same size button as lock and unlock. Let's head to the station. Well, we finally got to the Tesla supercharging station, so you just pop this open here. Perfect. All right, so we're actually showing up to a real Tesla supercharging station. Look how many there are! It's literally Tesla chargers everywhere. I've got free reign to figure out where to park. Oh wow, really big, good graphics. So this is actually my first time at a Tesla supercharging station myself, responsible for charging the Model 3. Last time I was with Brooks. Now the Model 3, something to note, it doesn't actually come with free supercharging, but to charge almost the entire range on this thing is only gonna cost you about $5. My E63, which we drove here as a camera car, for instance, is gonna cost about $60 to $70. This is a pretty good deal. How fast does it actually charge? Well, we are gonna show you in real time with a sped up time lapse and a timestamp how long it takes, but essentially, it's able to do 500 miles of range in 1 hour. That means in about 20 minutes, you can fill up almost this entire thing if you're at a quarter tank or so. In 20 minutes, you just get some lunch. So let's go ahead and actually plug this in. Go ahead and pull this out. So there's actually a button on here that you can click, which opens up the flap so that I can insert this into the Model 3. Now, let's see what happens, how long it takes, and how much range we get extended. Look at that, guys. It says right there on the screen, time remaining to full charge, only 50 minutes, and that's a full charge. Let's see what happens. Well, 25 minutes later, and the car is telling me that it is essentially 95% charged. Obviously, it's gonna take a little bit longer for that last 5%, but I've got 288 miles of range now out of 310. Plenty good. Let's go ahead and unplug this. By the way, every single spot here is filled with Teslas. That is an interesting thing to note, because if you show up and, well, every single spot is taken, that kind of be a bummer. But to incentivize people to leave when their car is done being charged, because some people were storing their cars here overnight or for far too long, they actually charge you every minute that your car is sitting here after it's fully charged. One great thing about the Model 3 is the price. As spec, this is a $50,000 car. Now, a Rolls-Royce Dawn that is extremely sexy, not comparable in any way, shape, or form with the twin turbocharged V12, terrible fuel economy, extremely luxurious, it's a Rolls-Royce. That costs 8 of these. 8. Well, guys, there you have it. There are 5 things I hate about the Tesla Model 3 and a bunch of things I absolutely love about it. Getting to do this charging experience for the first time myself was very, very cool, and in general, I am absolutely in love with the car. I can't wait until they come out with that dual motor version. We need to get our hands on one as soon as possible. So make sure you don't miss any more Tesla content or high-end car reviews or just daily lifestyle vlogs with me. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, give this video a huge thumbs up, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next video.